Welcome. If you are new, my name is Veronica. If not, welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about how do you really feel? How do you really let go of suppressed emotions? And this can be a challenge because first, I want you to be proud of yourself and congratulate yourself if you are ready to and willing to do this, because a lot of people, it takes courage. It takes courage to really look inwards. A lot of people sometimes put the blame in situations and other people. But the truth is, if you are triggered, it has everything to do with you and nothing to do with the situation or the person. Yes, there will be situations, maybe someone did you wrong, maybe someone crossed a boundary. But however you feel, what you feel has everything to do with you. And I know this can be a little challenging to kind of understand, because especially when you're in the moment, when you're upset or when someone really hurt you and you're really in your emotions, or you're really in your ego, or you're confused or whatever, you don't want to hear, hey, basically how you feel has everything to do with you and nothing to do with the other person or the situation. It's challenging to really accept that. But if you look at it as in that lens, that will give you the opportunity to grow and heal. And when you're able to grow and heal, you'll be able to set healthy boundaries. You'll be able to kind of see what you've been holding on to. Because whenever you have an emotion, let's say someone makes you mad, right? Like, and even saying that is so disempowering, right? Giving your power away like that. I feel mad. Someone ruined my energy. Someone made me sad because of their action, because of the situation. The truth is that already existed. It already existed within you, and that thing that's neutral triggered that in you. Of course, there's definitely other situations that, someone physically hurts you or something, then yeah, definitely a boundary was, crossed, and you're going to be upset about that. But talking like overall in general, when you have an emotion, it has everything to do with you and nothing to do with another person. And if you just look at it that way and you take accountability for your own feelings, that will give you the opportunity to really heal and to really look inwards. And if you really look at it that way, even a suppressed emotion, let's say you have held on to something and it's deep within you, you have to honestly feel it to heal it. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard feel it to heal it, but what you have to do is intentionally heal it, intentionally feel it. So you might feel sad or angry, and there's one thing just feeling it and then trying to soothe yourself, trying to suppress it. But if you're like, hey, I feel like this, let me intentionally feel it, intentionally hone in and really, really feel it, not stemming out of, I deserve to feel like this or not, because then it turns into a vicious cycle. Not like, oh, I feel like shit and I'm just gonna make myself feel more like shit, I deserve it or whatever. But actually saying, I'm gonna allow myself and hone into this emotion and accept it without judgment, allow it to be heard and really feel it, so I can let that energy release, because I know the core of who I am is pure love, bliss, and abundance. And so those are two different things. So definitely whenever I have gotten stuck in situations where I feel a certain way and it's like a circle, it's like a cycle. I just get stuck in a loop. But more empowering, if you just shift that to a more empowering view of like, I feel like this right now, let me intentionally feel it so I can heal it. That's more empowering, and that will actually allow you to really suppress that, not to really release the energy that has been suppressed. And so I like doing this usually if I'm going through a lot of challenges or I'm going through something. I dedicate like a day out of the week, a day that I really just have nothing to do, and I do like a meditation. I do a meditation. I maybe listen to whatever I feel called to, because it depends on the situation. Maybe I do some sound frequencies, maybe I'm journaling, maybe I basically dedicate that whole day. I maybe work out and do some yoga, and when I feel the feeling, the trigger, I think about it, right? And I hone into it and I really allow it to be heard. It might get really, really intense, and that's perfect. If it's fear, it might be like super, you might feel fear because it's been so suppressed. If it's sadness, you might feel really sad, and your body or your mind might try to project it towards a certain person, thing, situation, but just remember that has nothing to do with them. You feel like that because the feeling already existed, and that feeling has to be released. And once it is released, you will vibrate at a different frequency. You will attract different things because now you have a different belief. Now you have a different mindset. You're no longer holding on to that type of energy. So, for example, sadness, right? That's something that I was working with, or I have been working on. Is there would be moments of period that I would just feel so sad, like. And at first, I would try to project it to things or situations, but the more I did this inner healing and inner work, and I asked myself, when was the first time that I ever felt like this? When was the first time I ever felt like this? Where in my body do I feel it? At first, yes, I did this actually a year ago or two. Yes, I found out why exactly or where it came from, but what I have found is it's not as important as releasing the energy itself. Because then when you find out why it happened, sometimes you're like, oh, I am like this because of my parents, or I am like this because this happened to me. And yes, to some extent, but you have to rewrite that story, because in the end of the day, you just took it on as truth. And that is okay. It's no one's fault in the end. And so what I like to do is just, instead of asking myself when did it first start, and that's a good way to just identify what the belief is, but I like hone into it and I just feel it, and I just try to remember the first time if it comes up without judgment, and I welcome it and I allow it to be heard, and I just like really feel it. And the practice that I've been doing, that actually, I forgot what course I took that they mentioned it, and it really does work. I grab a pillow. You can scream. I have neighbors, though. I live in a place where there's neighbors right next door, so I don't scream. But I grab a pillow and I feel it. I harness that emotion, like in energy. Like I usually feel it in my solar plex, and it gets so intense, and I scream it to the pillow. I basically just shout at the pillow, and what that does, it releases that energy. And then I come back, and if I have to do it again and again, I do it. But then I come back, I'm like, the core of who I am is pure bliss, love, and abundance. I start reprogramming that. And that's really what I do too. That's like, I think it sounds simple. It really does sound simple, but it takes a couple practices. It takes a little bit, because your mind will automatically want to go back to its habitual habits of feeling and emotions, of triggers and whatever you've been holding on to. And your mind will also try to blame the situation or others, but as long as you can keep coming back to you, keep coming back and taking accountability for your own feelings, and then maybe doing that little ritual or meditation or whatever you want to call it to release that energy and just come back to who you are at your core, that I think is the best way to really release suppressed emotion, because emotion is energy just stuck in your body trying to flow through. And you can definitely, like I said earlier, you can do those questions like, where did I feel this at first? Where in my body do I feel it? I put my hands there, and then I do a forgiveness mantra, or you can do Ho'oponopono, which is like, I love you, I forgive you. I forgot exactly, you can look it up, but you can do forgiveness mantras. You can do not only for that person, but for yourself. Law of oneness, the more compassionate you are towards others, the more compassionate you actually are towards yourself, and the more compassionate you are towards yourself, the more compassionate you are towards others. What else? Something else that helped me a lot was just feeling it. Honestly, you can journal. The journaling doesn't help as much with me, but if you feel called to journal. And then also, for me, it really is just honing into really honing into that emotion and hearing it, doing inner child work. It's also called mothering, like allow it to be accepted and heard, because it's just a little version of you that you took on as truth that you suppressed in your life. Even when you're older, you suppressed all these emotions, and it's ready to be released. And so you can do a little like mothering, it's called, where you no, I'm there for you, I'm here for you, I'll accept you no matter what, I'll always be here for you. You talking to yourself, and that also helps a lot. But definitely accepting it, just saying whatever I feel called to in that moment. No, I'm here for you, I accept you, I love you. I'm allowing this emotion to really flow through, because I know the core of who I am is pure love, bliss, abundance. I can coexist with this feeling and still know that my truth, that I am enough, I am worthy, and I speak my truth, etc., etc. You can do whatever you feel called to really say. But other than that, those are some steps that I do that really help me release emotion, and I still currently do, and I practice whenever I do tap into more inner healing or inner wounds that I need to heal, and that's exactly what I do. So other than that, I hope this helped, and I will talk to you all in the next episode. Bye.